Circumcision, Brit Milah, seems to be such a strange mitzvah, the very first command given to Abraham to command his children that Jews around the world do today 4,000 years later. It's such an invasive act. It seems such a harsh and rough act, taking a young baby, barely a week old, inflicting a wound, a scar for life, the crying, etc., that this should be the very first religious act from the first Jew to his male children and until today. Such a harsh act. Says Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch something amazing in the beginning of this week's Parasha. He says that is why the harsh religious act of commitment to God is followed by the beginning of this week's Parasha, Avram suffering from, on the third day of the circumcision at such an old age. We see the remarkable, kind, refined acts of chesed that Avram and Sarah do. Incredible acts of chesed. In such pain, he sits, Yoshev Petach HaOel, he sits looking for guests, and we see this remarkable hospitality, bringing guests into the home. Him and Sarah running around, can't do enough for these people, treating them like noblemen, even though they are pagan wayfarers, according to his belief. Says Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch to teach us such a profound idea about the essence of Judaism. Our commitment to God, an absolute commitment to God, that every Jew does remarkably today, that the hallmark and mark of a Jew should never bring us to be distant from refinedness and softness and sensitivity to our fellow human being. Our Bein Adam LaMakom, our commitment to God, should never in any way take away, indeed it should enhance our commitment to the godliness in other human beings. And therefore he says the hospitality of Avraham Avinu has to be juxtaposed immediately in this week's Parasha, to the end of last week's Parasha, to the harshness of the sign of the Brit Milah. And incredibly we know the Rambam paskins this lahalacha in Mishneh Torah. It's based on a Gemara in Masechet Yevamot, that what are the signs of a Jew? Two of the three hallmarks of a Jew are rachmanut, mercy, and gomlei chasadim, and kindness. So much so, says the Rambam, halacha l'maaseh, if you see a Jew who behaves without mercy and kindness, it's just absent from their personality, you've got to question their yochsin, you've got to question their genealogy. Perhaps they're not Jewish. A Jew cannot behave in that way, going back to Avraham Avinu, the hallmark of a Jew. And may we all, as individuals in the Jewish people, continue to strive for this dual commitment, absolute commitment religiously and spiritually to God, to fulfill the values of what God has imbued Abraham and his descendants, the Jewish people, until today. But at the same time, that should allow us to see the godliness in every human being, that tselem Elokim, and that should bring us to be like the children of, like Avraham Avinu, so deeply refined and sensitive to all of those around us, deeply committed to God and deeply committed to the godliness in all human beings. Shabbat Shalom.